Satnam, Satnam. We're on the couch. Actually, this is the couch that I was on for 3.5 months. Someone's just left the front door, which is there. So that's been my view for the last 3.5 months. But I'm sitting upright and actually feeling really, really good today. So I wanted to come in and say hi and thank you once again, and to let you know that I went to the urologist today and I have a clean kidney. Yeah, the stone is gone. I knew the stone was gone. It was 9 millimeters. I could feel it, and I definitely could feel when it was gone. So I'll be sharing more of what's going on with this kidney stone journey, because I'm not the only one. And it's actually kind of interesting because it's in cleaning up my diet that that I've got them. So I've never had kidney stones before, and I'll say more about this in another time, but I had never had them before until I think 6 years ago. And I changed my diet 16 years ago and became plant-based. And the stones that I have are made from oxalic acid, which only occur in plants. So, but I've got a really good urologist, and we're going to be looking at whether upping my calcium could actually balance that out. So anyway, that's a whole different post, but I will be sharing about this journey because there's a lot of information that's not made available by the hospitals, by the doctors at the time. So, and also I have to drink 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, that's what they say, 3 to 4 liters. Get up a couple of times a night to pee. But hey, kidney's happy, so what are we going to do? So that was my little brief update for those of you who have been asking. And I just want to say, we're planning to go to a drum camp, and I'm realizing that our relationship, yours and mine, is just ever evolving. And now when I'm doing things, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about how to bring you along, or I'm excited that I can bring you along, and so drum camp is where Samaj and I met. Well, no, we didn't. Sorry, not where we met. Sorry, we had already met in February, and we went to drum camp in September, 16 years ago, and it's where the magic began between us. And for about 10 years, we didn't miss one camp. It was twice a year, and we were absolute devout. And then circumstances, as life does. And it's been, I think, the last 3 camps we haven't made. So we weren't recording very much when we last went. So there's African drumming going on, and it is just the most magical place for me to sit, put my mat down, and do yoga. So I will be bringing you along. It's completely off-grid, so there'll be no live aspect from there, which I do love the fact that there really is no cell phone reception. There's nada. They have water. That's what they do have, water. And that's it. 600 acres and water and a creek. This is our last chance of the year to get naked and be by the creek. And having had a summer on the couch, I'm just feeling the call. It's also the fall equinox. So it's the perfect time. There is no not perfect time to go up there, but it's an even more perfect time to go up. So that's what we'll be doing. And so, yeah, so that, just having you, I mean, even just sitting here and talking, essentially right now, am sitting talking to my iPhone on the end of a stick on my sofa. And by virtue of that, you get to interact. And I just think it's really quite magic, and we're going to be doing more of this. We've got some really cool plans. 3.5 months on the couch gave me a lot of time to think about what it is exactly, and not exactly, but to really nail down how I wanted to spend my time. So I would definitely know that I want less time, and already have less time on Facebook. I'm just that hole that there's a purpose there, but that really the place I want to spend my time is in YouTube and in Patreon, and between those two, and then making webinars that kind of can give more value, more information, be able to share more, just give There's so much I can say in a video here, but if someone signs up for a webinar, then they know it's an hour, 90 minutes, and we're going to fucking dive in, and we're going to get some shit done, right? And how do I make that available? And of course, I can just post it all on YouTube, but how do I make that available and be able to pay my bills? Because, loves, the math don't add up. That's something that's really present to me as I was laying on the sofa, and it's kind of breathtaking at times. Literally takes my breath when that side of things, being able to move through life with a little more ease. So I believe that there is a middle way. I believe there's always a middle way, and I believe it's Patreon. So while I was on the couch, we're going to have different levels on Patreon of ways that you can interact with us, from live meditations to Q&As, live Q&As. Well, they wouldn't be dead, would they? What else? There's a full moon and new moon rituals. And of course, what happens is there'll be like a little subscription. Patreon is per month. It's $1 a month and above. So as little as $1 a month will get you in. And this is the whole premise that, alone we can do so much, but together we can do so much more. And that wouldn't it be cool if not only that you're giving the donation for the service that you're getting, but that then that donation is being paid forward to make more and create more content for people who do not have, otherwise would not have access to it. You get my drift. So we can all be part of the process of change, and it can be all done in our name, right? In my name, your name, and that together we pull those $1 together, because people are charged 10,000 or all these values, which is great. But how do we? That's not my mission. So that's part of ours. So there's stuff coming to Patreon very soon, but you can already go there and sign up. That's Patreon, patreon.com/holla, HOLLA, patreon.com/holla, holla, holla, holla. And, there are some very magical people there right now that are supporting and not supporting, that are a part of that are walking this path. And this is where I'm going to be sharing more of the videos behind the scenes. Is going to be over at Patreon. Of course, we'll still be over here, but we'll be, more of us will be over there. So, and then there was the fasting thing, because that's what got me to I wanted to bring the camera out. And this is what I love, is that you're right there, and I can just kind of do it in the moment instead of thinking about it later. But you may or may not know that I've been doing intermittent fasting. So for me, that means that 2 to 3 days a week I drink water and I don't eat food, right? Fasting. And so that you can do from 8 p.m. at night to 2 p.m. the next day, or 12 noon the next day. The idea is to give your digestive system and to give your body a rest so that it can go and do repairs, right? And do its other stuff that it spends so much time digesting. So on, say, the evening one where you finish, don't eat anything after 8 o'clock, and then you don't eat until after, say, noon or 1 the next day, that gives you 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not. It's not like, there's lots of things out there. I'm not going to go into all the semantics of how to do intermittent fasting, but this is something that I had toyed with for quite a while, possibly about 14 months. And so it came really clear to me at Christmas that this was my next thing. I'm always trying things. I'm always allowing intuition to speak. Oftentimes I don't like what it says, It tells me I have to juice. I juiced for 2 years. Told me I have to fast. I really was not looking forward to that at all. I like to eat. And I've over this last I did it for 6 months until June, and then I had the kidney stone. I did not fast over the summer. I just let my body have what it wanted, and now I'm back to it. And I have this love-hate relationship with it. I do love it overall, but God, I hate it as well. But anyway, today the thing that I'm noticing is how many times I might just automatically pick something up, maybe because it's there. So Samaj has a couple of candies. They were on the counter. I walked in and I almost just reached for one and took it. He would share his candy with me, so it's not like I was stealing it. But just, that like, oh my God. And then, no, I didn't take it because I'm fasting. And so I have to, every day that I'm fast, I have to have these conversations with myself. And my brain wants to trick me, finds all different ways of trying to trick me into breaking the fast and giving me reasons. And then the other side of the brain counters with why I might not want to do that because of all the things I might lose. And between the two, they just keep going around and around and around. Welcome to inside of a cancer's head. Can you relate? And so it's actually quite exhausting at times. But what's even more exhausting is not even knowing that that's going on. So I find it really, I find it fascinating what fasting can show me about how my mind just tries to trick me or sabotage me. Because, of course, I want to feel healthy. That's why I'm doing this. And then mind just says, oh, but you can have whatever you want. Don't deprive yourself. Okay, what is depriving myself? Is not depriving myself, giving myself the cupcake that actually is going to shoot my sugar up and not be good for me? Is that what we're calling depriving ourselves? Because so often we've got that all kinds of mixed up, right? The things that we think are treating ourselves or making our own rules. But even in making our own rules, we need to have our own boundaries. And the thing that I love about it is that it's so definite. There's no thinking. It's not like, oh, can I have this today or not? It's like, is it food? No, you can't. Is it water? Yes, you can. There you go. And then the next day, it's not, oh, I can only have 500 calories or I can only eat this. I can eat whatever I want, right? And so, and through this, I've really found, I found a balance this year. Not that my weight still goes, has its little yo-yo thing on a much smaller scale, but I've found an equanimity with where I'm at and what that's telling me rather than where I'm at and not liking it, right? And also knowing, very empowered, knowing that wherever I'm at, I can do something about it. Because when I do my fasting, I feel really good and my body responds as well. So if I'm not feeling good or I don't think and I'm not as bright as I need to be, then I'm probably not doing my fasting. I do my fasting, I feel great. See? Will that last forever? No, it never does, right? That's the other thing that coming into my 50s now, into my 50s, that's the other thing that is very clear as well. We can't get too stuck in our ways. We have to be able to adapt or die, right? It's the reason that Buddhism, I remember reading this 16 years ago about why Buddhism has flourished for this time, is that even though it's stayed, there's still some things that we need to address within Buddhism, but the actual teachings is because they've adapted as they've gone along where they needed to. And this is but they haven't given themselves away either. So it's a very fine line between being a sellout and giving yourself away and actually just being able to adapt so that you can go with the flow instead of against it. Because we all know that going against the flow, well, it depends, but generally it's not where you want to be, right? And so being able to adapt is really important. And, that's a very present question to me now because I'm talking about my kidney stones earlier, right? So that I changed my diet, and it's, as my urologist said today, it'll be very good for my heart. My diet's extremely good for my heart, he said, but just not so good for my kidneys. But like I said, we're going to work on metabolic testing and see whether we can adapt some, maybe up the calcium if that's low. Hopefully my calcium is low. That would be good. If my calcium is low, that would be good because then we can up the calcium. It'll address the balance between the calcium and the oxalates. It also binds them, and we should be good along with the additional water, which, as I said, which they say for kidney stone patients is between 3 to 4 litres of water a day. I know, I'm up 2 to 3 times a night, but kidney's happy, so it feels so good to have a happy kidney, let me tell you. It's just quite magical. So anyway, that's what I was going to share, was a quick update. I'd love to hear from you as well, because I always love to hear from you. How are you doing? What are your biggest challenges? We're heading into fall. I'm just about to go pick some tomatoes and pears and apples from the orchard, and then continue getting ready for the fall season of Get Your Happy Back, which is our global community for change, where we change our habits to change our life. It's the formula that the system that I used 16 years ago and have continued to use. And we get together in a group, become lifetime members. It's pretty damn awesome. I don't know if you've checked it out, but if you've been thinking about it, you should come over and join up for the fall session. The theme for the fall session is the courage to choose to be you, right? Tapping into the courage to choose to be you, because it does take courage to be you, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen with every single small step that you make, and that starts right now. So if you want to come and join us for that, you can check that out at onewomanrevolution.tv/next step. NEXTSTEP, next step, as in that's the next step you'll take. And yes, and this year it is lifetime membership, so that will not be so next year, but for this year it certainly is. So fall season, and we'll be joining again in December. So, you could round out the year feeling so much better and having a plan in place for next year, because we don't just talk bullshit here. We actually get together and we do it as well. We do bullshit. We have such a varied group. They are an awesome bunch of people. I think our youngest member is in 22. I think our oldest member is 74, and everyone in between. So this is the place where we make change, we support each other, and it is a place where we get our happy back, and it's a reset for body, mind, and spirit. And as I say, we don't just talk about it. We have 4 practice sessions a year where we put into practice changing our habits, watching our mind so that we can learn to do what we set our mind to rather than what the mind distracts us with. So anyway, all of that and more. Thank you for joining me. I love you so very much. I'll see you on the other side. And I'd love to know from you, have you tried fasting? Do you have love and hate of it? Is it something you've been thinking about? Or anything that's on your mind? Or if you've got questions that you would like me to answer in future videos, I'm always super happy to hear those as well, because this is your channel as much as it is mine. And I would love for it to be a two-way street. Okay, sweetheart, I love you. Thank you for joining me. Sat Nam.